Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves Podcast channel. In today's video, it's going to be the 34th Gooners and Gloves Podcast, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and predictions for the Tyson Fury-Alexander Usyk 2 fight taking place this weekend. Of course, this is a rematch after their incredibly entertaining first fight in which Alexander Usyk won by split decision to become the new the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in an incredibly entertaining fight. Now, this channel actually didn't exist back when the first fight took place because it was all the way back in May, and this channel started in October, but I did actually predict Alexander Usyk to win by points in that fight, and I got it right, and that's actually the same prediction that I've gone over for this fight as well. However, we will get to that in a second. Of course, an incredibly entertaining first fight. Alexander Usyk won by split decision. Tyson Fury certainly put up a spirited effort, but Alexander Usyk was just fantastic on the night, so well prepared. Actually almost knocked Tyson Fury out in the 9th round. But yeah, so I'm just going to kind of go over who I think is going to win, how I think the fight's going to go, how I think each fighter is going to box, and maybe look at next fights for both of them after this one. But yeah, pretty much let's get straight into it. So first of all, let's just go over kind of how I think each fighter is going to approach the fight. So starting off with Tyson Fury. Now, of course, in my opinion, the mistake that Tyson Fury made in the first fight was the same mistake that Anthony Joshua made the first time he fought Usyk, and that's that he tried to outbox Usyk. Now, Usyk is just somebody who is really hard to outbox. Like, there's no other way of putting it. He's incredibly tough to outbox. Of course, Alexander Usyk is an Olympic gold medalist, a World Amateur Games gold medalist, an undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Of course, after beating Fury, he became an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He's just incredibly seasoned. He's had hundreds, I think nearly 400 amateur fights. He's pretty much as seasoned as season gets. He is absolutely so good at boxing. He's completely seasoned. He knows how to fight. He knows how to box. And in my opinion, the mistake that Tyson Fury made is that he tried to outbox him. And don't get me wrong, Tyson Fury did well. Like, there were points he was outboxing him. There were points he was outlanding him. Like, he was doing well. But again, Alexander Usyk is just so good at adjusting to the fight, just downloading the data throughout the fight. And as much as Alexander Usyk might have been a bit sort of shaken up and rattled at first, he calmed down, he listened to his corner, he made the adjustments, and eventually began to outbox Fury, outland Fury. Of course, we know what happened in round 9 where Usyk just landed some hellacious shots that very nearly knocked out Tyson Fury. Of course, the ropes caught him, and yeah, so what I expect him to do this time is, of course, I expect Tyson Fury to do what really he should have done the first time. I expect him to use his size. So first of all, I do think he'll come in a lot bigger than he did for the first fight. Now, I'm filming this the day before the weigh-in on the Thursday, so of course the weigh-in will be on the Friday, so I can't confirm this, but I would imagine that pretty much the first priority for Fury will be to come in bigger and to have more of a size advantage against Usyk. Of course, we know he already has the huge reach advantage, and he did definitely do well in the first fight to use it, but this time I do think that he's going to come in with a much more heavier. Now, in terms of how heavy, I think it's probably going to be more muscle than fat. It's probably going to be muscle, but I just think he's going to want to come in bigger so he can have more size to use against Usyk. Obviously he's already got the reach, so that's fine, but I just think he's going to want to just be bigger, more mass, more size, and ultimately going to try and bully Usyk and essentially try and make it rough, make it maybe a little bit dirty. Of course, we know Tyson Fury can make fights dirty, and he can use every trick in the book to his advantage, and that's something he even did it a few times in the first fight, and it's something that I think he's going to use this time. But the main thing is, I think he's going to come in bigger, and I think he's going to be more about power rather than boxing. I don't think he's even necessarily going to be massively trying to outbox Usyk. I think it's going to be purely about just pretty much bulldozing, get him to the corner, land really heavy shots, and pretty much just really... Another thing I expect him to do is probably try and lean on Usyk a bit throughout the fight. Of course, that is something that Tyson Fury has been known for, is that trick where he leans on his opponents. Obviously, he's very big, he's very tall, he's very large, so it's going to be incredibly tiring, and the main thing in this fight is going to be to tire Usyk out. Now, that's not going to be an easy feat for Fury, because Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, has one of the best gas tanks in boxing, like, and that's because of his training. You know, we know. And one of the craziest things that I heard about Usyk is, in preparation for the first fight against Anthony Joshua, he was doing 15 4-minute rounds of sparring with 30-second breaks in between. So that sort of training is just insane. Alexander Usyk is someone who does a lot of different sports as part of his training, so we know why his gas tank is so good. He's been the 12-round distance many times. So while it won't be easy, I do think that Tyson Fury's main objective in this fight is going to have to be to just tire Usyk out. so that he can no longer move around. He can no longer make use of his head movement, which is so good. He can no longer get the combinations going. So in terms of how I think Fury's going to do that, he's going to be coming forward a lot. He's going to be putting on loads of pressure. He's going to be trying to land the body shots. He's going to be just bullying, or at least trying to bully Usyk against the ropes, really trying to make it a rough. I fully expect Tyson Fury to make this a very rough, a very dirty fight, pushing Usyk against the ropes, hitting him with heavy shots, leaning on him, just, doing everything in his power to tire him out. So that's how I think Tyson Fury is going to address it. So in terms of how I think Tyson Fury is going to approach the fight as a final conclusion, so he's going to come in bigger, he's going to come in heavier, he's going to try and bulldoze Usyk, push him against the ropes, back him up, put pressure, land the body shots, and really just make it as rough and dirty of a fight as possible, because ultimately, in my opinion, that's one of the only ways to truly beat Usyk, is to make it rough, make it dirty, and ultimately just try and tire Usyk out. Now, in terms of Alexander Usyk, of course, his main objective, first of all, the movement. We know he's fantastic at moving. I think his nickname is actually the Cat, if I'm not mistaken, and part of the reason for that is because he's so good at making full use of the ring, moving around, bouncing on his toes, landing the shots, hit and don't get hit. So that's going to be a big part of Alexander Usyk's game, just like it is in pretty much every fight, hit and don't get hit, elusive. He's a very elusive fighter. He's someone who can move around a lot. And of course, he's going to be looking to make use of that against Tyson Fury. And I think Usyk's movement is especially going to have to be prevalent in this fight, because as I mentioned earlier, I fully expect Tyson Fury to put on a lot more pressure, to really, really look to corner Usyk and just completely knock him out. So I do think that Usyk is going to have to really make use of his footwork and his movement, because otherwise he could get caught in some very serious positions. Aside from that, of course, we know how good he is with that, with the right hand, the left hook especially. We know that the left hook the right hook, not the left hook. No, sorry, yeah, the left hook. Sorry, my bad. The left hook. We know the left hook for the southpaw is an absolutely devastating punch, and Usyk made use of it to full effect in the first fight, and that was actually the punch that very nearly knocked Tyson Fury out. It was a great jab followed by a devastating left hook. And the thing is, the left hook for the southpaw is one of the most devastating punches they can throw, and Usyk is going to again be looking to make full use of that. We know that the jab's going to be important. I feel like there's quite a common misconception that the jab isn't useful for the shorter reach fighter, but it's not true. Definitely, as much as, don't get me wrong, the jab is so useful for the long range fighter, and Tyson Fury is going to be making full use of it. It can be very useful for the short fighter as well. As much as Tyson Fury is going to want to land the body shots to tire Usyk out, it's going to be the same thing for Usyk. Usyk, of course, because Tyson Fury is going to be bigger for this fight, or at least I'm assuming, we'll find out at the weigh-in tomorrow, but I'm assuming Tyson Fury will be bigger this time than he was last time. Then, of course, Usyk himself's also going to want to tire Fury as well. So that's the other thing, Tyson Fury. So they are both going to want to tire each other out, but definitely Usyk's going to want to tire Fury out as well, because again, the more tired Fury is, the slower he is, the slower he moves around, and the more that Alexander Usyk can start to up the tempo, up the hand speed, and really just continue to outbox Tyson Fury. So that's kind of how I think they're both going to address it. So Tyson Fury going to want to make it more dirty, be more rough, use his size, lean on Usyk, and basically just make it as difficult for Usyk as possible to move around. And Usyk is going to want to make more use of footwork, movement, head movement, combinations, hit and don't get hit, kind of, getting inside, getting back outside, tiring Fury out. And Fury on the other hand, I think is pretty much just going to want to bulldoze Usyk, push him against the ropes, bully him, and pretty much just try and get him out of there as soon as possible before he himself gets tired. So that's kind of an overview of how I think they're both going to address the fight. Now, in terms of how I think the fight itself is going to go, so I do think the first half of the fight is going to be quite heavily dominated by Tyson Fury, as I mentioned earlier, because I think that Tyson Fury is going to want to be pushing Usyk back. As a result of that, I think he's going to be the one putting more pressure. We also know that Usyk is a bit of a slow starter as well. He's somebody who likes to download the data, work his way into the fight sort of across the first 4 or 5 rounds, and we did see that against Tyson Fury in the first fight. He was kind of just trying to read Tyson Fury, try to calculate the data. We saw it in the 2 Joshua fights. We saw it against Bellew. It's something he just likes to sort of take his time, really read, work his way into the fight. So for that reason, combined with Tyson Fury's just intent and mean intentions he's going to be coming out with, because I do fully expect him to have mean intentions. He's going to be throwing every punch with conviction. He's going to be really, really just trying to get Usyk out of there, because I'm sure Tyson Fury is aware that Usyk's going to have better stamina than him. I'm sure that Tyson Fury's team is aware of that as well. He's going to have better stamina than him, and so Tyson Fury's going to have that at the back of his head. But also, I just think Tyson Fury's going to want to make a statement. Of course, Usyk was his first loss, and that never feels good for any fighter. So now he's going to want to get his win back, and he's going to want to give Usyk his first loss. Now, personally, I have And then, so yeah, that's going to be the first half. I think Fury's going to be just really putting on pressure, and Usyk's going to be slowly but surely downloading the data. And this is where I think Usyk's going to have to weather the storm. And I think that's where, because he's going to have to weather Fury's early storm, because Fury's going to be coming out with everything. And I think Usyk's definitely going to have to weather Fury's early storm. Now, me personally, I do think he'll be able to, and this is why I predicted Usyk on points, because Usyk's durability, in my opinion, is so underrated. He's been in trouble multiple times. He was in trouble against Daniel Dubois. He was in trouble in the second Joshua fight. He's been in trouble. Of course, he was in trouble against Derek Chisora. He's a very durable fighter. You know, he takes heavy shots, even against Murat Gassiev. Murat Gassiev, one of the most devastating punches in the cruiserweight division at the time. And Alexander Usyk pretty much just took his punches and smiled. So Usyk is incredibly durable, and I do think he'll be able to get through Tyson Fury's onslaught. But don't get me wrong, it will be tough. Usyk will be hurt multiple times throughout this fight. He probably will be on the verge of getting knocked out multiple times, because Usyk is a very heavy puncher. He's a very tall guy, and he will make this tough. So that's kind of how I think the first half of the fight's going to go. Then as the fight progresses into the second half, I think that Tyson Fury is going to start to get more tired. Usyk will have weathered his early storm. Not only will he get tired, but he might even get a bit discouraged, because obviously if Usyk is out here surviving his heaviest onslaughts, that's not going to be a good feeling for Fury. So because of that, I think he's going to start to be more sluggish, going to start to have his hands down. This is another thing that we saw in the first fight as well. As Tyson Fury was getting more tired, his hands were down, and as a result of that, Usyk began to take advantage. And I think it'll be a similar story now. I think that Usyk will survive Tyson Fury's early onslaught. He will be able to get through all the punishment, and eventually will start to work his way back into the fight, get the combinations going, really start to frustrate Tyson Fury. And eventually, as the fight reaches the championship rounds, I think this is where Usyk will have taken control of the fight and will pretty much just see out the last few rounds. And I think he'll just about win on points, just like he did in the first fight. So as a summary, Tyson Fury will dominate the fight early. He'll definitely be the aggressor, will definitely dominate the fight early and take probably the first few rounds. Eventually Tyson Fury will start to tire out, and I think this is where Usyk will begin to get to work, land the combinations, get the movement going, just really, really up the tempo, win the next few rounds. Tyson Fury by this point will maybe be a bit frustrated, maybe a bit tired from all the shots he's taken, and I think eventually will start to have his hands down a bit more. And I think this is where Usyk's really going to take advantage, land the shots, land the combinations, and then as it gets to the championship rounds, I think Usyk is going to see the fight out. By this point, I think he will have it won on the scorecards and won't do anything stupid. I think he will just look to get the fight won, see the fight out, and eventually Usyk will win by points. So that's a rough overview in terms of the records. Usyk is 22-0 with 14 knockouts. Tyson Fury is 34-1-1 with 24 knockouts. Of course, the one loss only being to Alexander Usyk himself. But yeah, I'm really interested to see who you guys think are going to win this fight. I do expect this to be more of an unpopular prediction, because I think a lot of people are going to want to, a lot of people are probably going to back Fury and are going to think that Fury will win. And I do understand it. And of course, one thing I didn't even mention is that Fury has a very good record of rematches. He's very good at rematches. Of course, we think about Deontay Wilder, John McDermott, Derek Chisora, so on and so forth, and pretty much in all those fights he goes on to knock the guy out quite convincingly in the second fight. So I'm not saying this will be easy for Usyk. I'm not saying he will just easily outbox Fury. I just think Usyk has the quality, has the durability, has the work ethic, and has the endurance to outwork Fury, out-hustle Fury, and eventually beat him on points. So that's what I believe. But again, it will be tough. Fury will make this an incredibly tough fight. This could genuinely be one of Usyk's toughest fights, but I do think that Usyk will be able to survive the initial onslaught, work his way back into the fight, tire Fury out, and eventually win on points. The reason I don't think he'll stop him, I'm aware that Usyk very nearly stopped Fury in the first fight, and to be honest, probably should have knocked him out had it not been for the referee. But I just think because Fury will obviously be better this time, will likely have a better chin, of course, will be bigger, I just think it'll be a bit tougher for Usyk to knock him out. And we know that Usyk isn't always about knocking out. He's just about winning the fight, and if it means outpointing Fury, then I'm sure that Alexander Usyk is more than happy to do that. But that's an overview. I think Usyk will win by points. Early on, it will be Tyson Fury dominating the fight. Gradually, Usyk will work his way back in, tire Fury out with the body shots and the combinations. Fury will start to have his hands down, be more frustrated, swing more wildly. Usyk will continue to outbox him, and eventually, as it reaches the championship rounds, Usyk will see the fight out, win by points, and retain his championships. That's my opinion. Please let me know down below who you guys think is going to win. I think this is such an interesting fight. It could go either way, but I'm gonna back my initial prediction. I've had this prediction since the first fight that Usyk will win again, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'm saying Usyk wins on points. So yeah, that's what I've gone with. So yeah, pretty much thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate this. As much as I don't do these prediction ones as often, when it's a big fight or a big game, I definitely do like to, because I do enjoy talking about this stuff, and I'm really looking forward to analyzing this fight on Sunday. We'll see if what I said aged well or aged poorly, but I just think that Usyk's going to win again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. Always good to get boxing stuff out as well. Super excited for this fight on Sunday. Really looking forward to watching it. So yeah, please let me know down below who you think is going to win and by what means. Who do you think will be walking out of Saudi Arabia with the heavyweight world championships for boxing? And yeah, pretty much thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day. My final prediction, Alexander Usyk wins by points. Please let me know down below who you guys think will win. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on another podcast soon. Bye bye.